Hey there, I'm going to go over some typography text on a path with Photoshop right now. I'm going to have you to follow along, and if you would make a new document, 8 inches by 8 inches, so we're going to make a square. Let's just go ahead and go with RGB color mode and black background, 150 resolution. So be sure to go ahead and make those settings and press create. So we have a nice little square here to deal with. And at this point, I'm going to have you grab the type tool and type your first name. And you can choose what size. So I typed it, double clicked it. I'm going to come up here and point to the TT button till I get it the size I want. Now I'd like you to try to find a fatter font because we're going to be putting some words around the letters. So we want something that's got a little bit of oomph to it. I'm going to choose this Kabold Comic. And we'll let you add a layer style of your choice here. Preferably from the styles panel though, just for fun. And as always, let's take a look at some of the text warping features. Again, you have to be on the type tool. If you're on the move tool, you won't see your text warp up here. So let's click back on the type tool and then you can choose a warping option. And again, I don't care which one, but do a little something. You know, it could be something kind of crazy like this, or it can be something a little more tame. Totally up to you. I'm going to go with this one. And then I'm going to go back to my move tool, press Control T and rotate this a little bit, like so. And then finally apply a style from the styles panel. And if yours is not visible, Window Styles to add that. And then you can choose a style. And if you don't see one that you like, press the 3 lines and you can choose different categories like abstract styles and try one of those. Or whatever you would like to choose is totally cool with me. Okay. Remember that styles are just simply a bunch of layer styles. So if I bring up my layers panel and we take a look, what this did is it added a bevel and emboss and a pattern overlay. And those things are fully editable, or I can add additional styles to that. So if I wanted to add a glow, I can go to outer glow and then come down to this middle section where the elements are and change the spread and the size of my glow to make it a little glowier, if you will. And of course I could change the color if I wanted. All right, so I've got this on here, but that's not really what this lesson is about. What I want to show you how to do is to create paths, and we're going to add some words to describe you. So this is going to be like adjective day. Yay! Okay, so a couple of ways to go about this. We are going to use the pen tool exclusively today just because I want you to practice with the pen tool. So I'm going to zoom up close to these letters. And I'm going to use, for my first one, part of this letter O. And we want to use part of the curve of the O. I'm going to use the pen tool. So here's your type tool. The pen tool's right below. You want to make sure your pen is set to draw a path. If it's set to draw a shape, it's going to draw, you know, like a shape. And that's not what we want. So I'm going to press delete. I want an actual path. And a path is like, it's invisible. It's not even real. It's just a thing that's going to be there that we can hook letters to. Okay? So I'm going to set this on path. And then I haven't taught you how to create pen paths yet. Pens are kind of a creepy little thing. Like if you click on it and then you come click somewhere else, if you don't let go and you just click and drag, a little handle pops out. Now ignore that handle, this thing that's moving up and down. But I could actually create my path this way. Okay? And then I press escape. And now I have a path. See, I have a nice little path. So you can try that out. If you have an O or a letter that's round, try that out for size, because that really is the easiest way to make paths once you understand how to use those handles. So I'll do one that way and then I'll do a different one. But you have to press escape to make the handles go away. And then you grab your type tool. Now typically if you click on here, you're going to see a line appear, but you can't click inside of type that's already there. So like I already have my name there, so I'm not going to get that little line for the type on a path here because these letters are in the way. So I'm going to turn these letters off for a minute. There we go. See, now I can see that line appear. So I'm going to say make sure you have this set on left before you click so that this is the left side of the text box, so to speak. And you're just going to click one time. Now what you're going to see is your cursor appear. Now my cursor is huge. It's 166, which is obviously way too big. Before I even type these words, I'm going to go ahead and just start pulling backwards and letting go a little bit and pulling and letting go a little bit till this gets to a more reasonable size. I don't want it to be like microscopic. I want to be able to read it, but I need it to be a decent size to use. Okay, and then I'm ready to type. So once I've got that size picked, I'm going to type my words in that text box. So I want you to put an adjective to describe you, like fun-loving. All right, so I've got my fun-loving up on here. And notice that it is too long of a word and it does not fit. So I can't highlight it like this because I can't grab a hold of the G, right? So I'm going to double click to select one word, or if you have multiple words, triple click. So I triple clicked just to be on the safe side. And then I can come up here and resize this. And obviously it didn't get it, so I'm going to triple click again and start with something, and then I can resize it like so. Okay, so once I get that on there, if I did want to center it on the path, then at this point I could hit center. But for now, that's fine. And then you can change up the font. We don't want every single font to be the same. So there we go. And then choose whatever color you want. Again, you'll need to have all of it highlighted, so just triple click. That's really the fastest way, and then you've got your little button here. You're going to hit OK, and then go ahead and flip this on just so you can see. Ah, that looks beautiful. And so there, we're good with that one. Now I'm ready to create another path. So we're going to go somewhere else and create another path. So I'll come over here on the edge of this Y. Now this time I'll create a path the other way. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, make sure it's set to paths. And I'm just going to kind of go along the edges here. And this time I'm just going to click, let go, click, let go, click, let go. Now what you're going to notice is it's going to take a little more time to create this path. And this path is not going to be straight. So my other path was nice and straight and smooth, I guess you would say. This one's not going to be as smooth because it's got all these anchor points. But you can create a path this way. And so we'll try it, right? And so once I've got all my points, I'm going to press escape to commit to the path, which then makes the little dots go away. And then I can grab a hold of my type tool. Now, here's where this gets tricky. Depending on where I click on this path is where it's going to connect. So I'm going to turn off my other letter because I'm not getting that line again because remember this big one is in the way. So if I come up here and click on the path, it's going to type wherever it's typing. I'm typing letters and you can't see it. And sometimes that happens on a path. So I wanted to show you what to do. If you're typing letters and nothing is showing up, that means that it's confused about the path, and you come to this little button here. This is the path selection tool, okay? And you're going to point up here on your path, and you're going to see a cursor with an arrow by it, okay? That's going to allow you to start dragging here, and notice that now I'm dragging, and I can eventually move this all the way to the end of my path. Now, had I just clicked down here to begin with, that would have worked fine. And I wouldn't have had to drag this in. I actually kind of wanted to put this on the other side of the path, but that's not where it ended up going. So oops, I was on my path selection tool. Let me switch back to my type tool for a second. And I'm going to say, Sassy Mama. Okay. And then I'll triple click this and change my font to something else. This is fine. If I want to make it bigger or whatever, I could. And I'll change the color to some other color. All right, so now I've got that in there. I'm going to hit OK. I chose a really pale pink. You can't even hardly tell. Let's make it a pinker color. Okay, so now I've got that on there. But if I turn this back on, it's not how I wanted this. I really kind of wanted it to be elsewhere, right? So you can either scoot it down so that it's not touching the letters. So you can take your move tool, and I just use my arrow keys on your keyboard to shift it. That's probably the easiest way. So you can do your arrow keys that way. Or I could have flip-flopped it across the path. So how do I do that? I'm going to click back in here with this black arrow tool. I'm going to point to the middle of the word, and I'm going to click and drag, and I just pulled over the other direction. Basically, I just yanked this direction, okay? And now you can see that it's got it on the other side of the path. So now I can grab a hold with that other arrow part to kind of change where my path starts. And there we go. And now it's on the side of the path I actually wanted it on. So now I can go back to that move tool and use my arrow key if I need to make it cuddle up to that path better as to where it's supposed to be lined up. See that? Pretty handy stuff. So your main thing to remember is because we're typing text so close to other text, it's going to think that we're wanting to edit Tanya. It's going to think that I'm going to edit my name, but I don't. I want to add new text boxes. So since I need to add new text boxes, I'll have to keep turning this off before I attach the text to the path. Let's try one more. I'm going to take my pen tool, click here, and then I'm letting go of my mouse, and I'm going to click here, and this time I'm not going to let go. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag. Okay? Now, see the little seesaw handles are what are creating my little arc. So I'm just going to kind of pull the seesaw handles out until it lines up about how I want it. Let's say that's good. So really this is the beginning and this is the end. This little seesaw thing just alters the points, okay? And then press escape. There we go. Type tool. If I point to it, I'm not getting the line. That's because it thinks I want to edit Tanya and I don't. So I'm going to turn her off. And then click here on the path. And I can type in whatever I want it to be. Double click. Change the font. If it does not fit, either size it down, or if you don't think there's enough room on the line, after you hit OK, come and grab that black arrow and try to change either the beginning or the ending point of your line to make more room for your words. And then turn this back on. Okay? So isn't that exciting? So I'm going to ask you to do this as well. Now, hear me, the purpose of this is to practice paths. So putting text on a straight line and rotating it is not path. This is not something I need a path for. If I want to add words there, I literally can just click, type the words, and rotate it. That's not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is for you to practice making paths and attaching words to paths. So again, pen tool, find a place that's got a path that you can create. You can try using the angle if you want, or you can go this route. By the way, after you hit escape, you can always modify that path. There is a direct selection tool that will let you click on the path, and then you can pick up and scoot these. So if it is kind of like not perfect, you can kind of fix it. And then I can grab that type tool after I commit the change. So hit escape, grab that type tool, and then again I got to turn this off, and then I can connect to it. Enjoy life, let's say. Okay, and then I can choose my font, choose my size, change my color, and hit OK, and turn this back on to take a look. Okay? So again, if you draw a path and you need to edit the path, click and hold your path selection to go to direct selection, click on it, move your dots around, press escape. Escape always gets rid of the dots, so then we have the path, and then click on your type tool. Now, if you mess up on a path and you don't need it anymore, like, so I click here and then I'm like, oh man, I messed up in this path I don't want. When you hit escape, you can't like delete a path. It's just kind of there. So there is a panel called paths that you can open up. And I mean, you can just click off of the path and then the path is gone. And then you can start again and create a new path. But this one wouldn't work because this technically is straight. But you can just click off of the path in the Paths panel, and then the path goes away, and then you could create another path. And that's pretty much it. So my goal for you is to put 7 different adjectives in different places, so not all of them around the same letter, but we are looking for curvy places that you can create paths for, and I want you to use different fonts and different colors and have fun with it.